so that's a little far. I'm gonna let him see the sun. Alright. Let me know when you guys can see. Mic's on. Thing should be rolling.
Looks like it's loading up.
Loading.
That's weird. There's one person per panel.
I know, right?
We each get our own tonight.
Everybody gets
Do
their
you want
own.
to scoot over into the middle of it more?
You could probably go up on Corey's headspace.
No.
It kind of goes right to his eyeballs.
Right. Right there. Oh, stop that. How's that?
It's updating. Hold on.
How rude it's updating.
Pretty good. That's perfect.
Okay. Then we are ready to begin. Yes? Good?
Yep.
I'm ready to go.
Alrighty. Well then, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Order of the Broken Spear. Last time, our wonderful heroes were still in the town of Pony Hill. They can't seem to make their way out of it. It's almost like the DM likes it a little too much.
Almost
but
like it's his home away from home.
I mean, how much can a DM really like a place that he attacks 2 weeks in a row?
Oh.
As all of the villagers basically got frozen in time, petrified. Not really sure which.
At first they were afraid.
They were
They
stupefied.
were
Yeah,
petrified.
they were petrified.
They were stupefied.
And a large mechanical clockwork spider fort monstrosity that towers over Pony Hill and basically blocks out the upper part of the hill from the sun, approached, and their old nemesis Artemis, Brahm's half-brother, came down and basically gave them an ultimatum. Either you come into this fort willingly and I kill you in my death trap, or the village dies. Basic ultimatum there. Apparently Artemis was sent by his lord Asmodeus and Tiamat Tiamat herself to take out the team, finally put a stop to this Order of the Broken Spirit that's been causing so much havoc for the cult of the dragon. But it didn't work. The party was able to navigate their way through the death trap maze with not relative ease, but ease enough. They beat some devils. They made their way up to the top where they encountered Artemis in a gladiatorial arena, and as well as 3 red dragons that they had to fight all at once. But thanks to some creative thinking, we'll call it creative thinking, they were able to use Thornock transformed into a T-Rex to defeat these dragons. At which point, Asmodeus abandoned Artemis, and Akio blew him to pieces with sonic energy.
Blew him to bits.
We ended that session with Brahm riding the corpse of one of the dragons off of the keep and presenting himself, sword, rapier held high, to the town of Pony Hill, who once again believe you are the ultimate heroes for saving their town, and probably more or less not realizing that you were the cause of this calamity that came to the town. And that's where we ended the night. So, awesome. After a night of celebration in which each of you gets bought at least 1 round of drinks, Ari might have taken off immediately after you guys came out of the tower because she was pretty low on health.
Nice. One health.
Yeah, a stiff wind could have knocked her over and then transformed her into some random race. The party wakes up the next day refreshed or hungover, however they want to, however much they want to have drunk that night.
Definitely hungover.
Yeah, Brahm is definitely hungover. You guys come downstairs. The the bartender and a couple of the other men are actually hauling away the broken pieces of a table, muttering to themselves about how it looked fine last night. I don't know what happened to it. And then the barmaid comes over and says, breakfast?
Steak, protein.
Yes,
Right?
that sounds lovely, thank you.
Steak and protein. Not quite sure what that second one is. Never had that around here.
Something.
Eggs,
Please don't speak.
bacon, toast, everything.
Oh,
good.
yes, of course.
Please don't speak so loud.
Right, sorry. Oi! Get some of everything!
I take 2 points of psychic damage.
Yes.
Sonic damage.
Sonic damage.
Sorry, is it that night or the next day?
It
Next
is
morning.
The next day.
morning.
The morning after.
Okay.
Yep, it is the morning after everybody's waking up. You guys have a nice breakfast. Everybody can take a long rest if you haven't yet.
Cool. I'll come sit next to Brom with a cup of coffee, one for me, one for him, and I'll say, sorry I killed your uncle. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. I know you weren't really close with him, but losing a family member is still hard.
It's quite alright.
I know your heart, Brom, and I know maybe this might cause some turmoil for you, some inner turmoil. If you need anything, just remember you have friends,
Absolutely.
and we care about you.
I appreciate it.
I say killing a family member is hard unless that family member has tried to kill you multiple times and is in league with the dragon.
True, but I still kind of feel a moral responsibility.
I appreciate it, my friend.
Also, I want to point out for the audience that Artemis is not Brom's uncle, it's his brother.
Brother.
Oh,
His bastard brother.
Bastard just because he's a jerk.
Well, because he's... I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's true.
But you guys are sitting there. Esta walks in and she peeks her head in the door and looks around really quickly. As she's scanning the corners for shadowy figures, doesn't find any sort of cloaked men that you guys might talk to. And she enters in and sits down at the table and she says, "Are you planning on leaving today?"
Right. I think that is the plan, yes. Once we gather everyone up, and
I'm seeking respite with my face on the table.
we will be heading
Looking
out
for
to
anything
Waterdeep.
She just scratches the top of your head.
Like a dog.
Great, because
I shoot my bow.
I'm eager to get out of here. This is apparently a more active town than I had ever seen. At least since you guys have been here.
I have a feeling Pony Hill is going to be a lot more important over the next couple of years.
Yeah, the kind of pseudo town council is already talking about what to do about the giant fortress outside. Not quite sure how they're going to handle that yet, but
Just leave it as a monument to your hardy souls, your hardy kinship. I don't know, just some sort of
I'd turn it into your key.
tribute to
they're
Pony Hill.
they're still discussing options. Who knows what'll happen to it? I don't think it's something that we can easily move, so it'll probably at least remain there for a while. I do know one thing: we have to move a few of the farmsteads a little bit further south, or east or west, to get out of the shadow of that thing because it's causing a few problems with the crops, or it will eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I'm ready to head out whenever you guys are.
Yes.
We've got breakfast on the way. You're welcome to join us. And then we will check and see if we need any supplies and head out.
Perfect. All right, so you guys eat a nice breakfast. Everybody can have +1 on their next roll for the nice breakfast that you have. It's a delightful one. And you all pack up your things. Esta still has all of your supplies that you had requested, and you head outside and down the hill, basically, to go gather horses for the trip south. There's a stable just at the bottom of the hill. And as you reach the bottom of the hill, the clouds above you start rumbling a little bit. and then you realize that the clouds above you are the only clouds in the sky. Everything else is pretty clear, and the clouds kind of bubble a little bit and break, and this huge castle comes soaring down from the clouds. And Esta goes, not again.
We go. This is precisely why, my dear lady, why we were trying to ask you if you were so sure about this, because
Is this?
where we go, trouble follows.
I ask, is this something you recognize?
Yes, is this is it one that we?
It does bear a striking resemblance to Skyreach Castle.
I really, really hope that is Skyreach Castle. With we have a comrade, Brigotkis, the
Our ride is here.
I hope that he's in good spirits and not trying to flatten the city.
What was that?
He said, "All right, is here."
All right is here. Okay, I didn't hear that part. So you guys, it gets down to about maybe 100 yards or so off the ground, and kind of stops, and the main gate rolls down, and this giant of a, well, I guess he's a giant. This giant of a giant steps out onto the drawbridge, lets out a mighty ha ha, and then just lifts off the ground in kind of this swirl of clouds and crackling thunder, and he lands down in front of you and says, "My friends, it's so good to see you again."
I collapse to the ground in a fetal position.
I'm afraid you have me at a loss, sir. We've never met.
Ah! And he extends one of his fingers down to you.
I shake it.
And he says, "The name is Blagothkus. I am the Lord of Skyreach Castle and one of the nicer giants you'll ever meet.
I have met a few, and they were not nice.
I see you've lost a few companions and picked up a few more."
Indeed, there's a few of us that we still need to collect from the outer planes of devils, but yes, for the most part we're intact.
Well, good to hear. I'm here to collect you.
I say we've managed to kill a few more dragons since we saw you last. I hope you've been busy.
Oh, yes, I have been very busy. Slaying dragons has been pretty much priority number one. They're all over the skies these days. You've heard the horn, correct?
We did hear that one.
We did.
That was in Waterdeep, right?
Yep, it actually is still going off. You can still, if you listen really closely, you can still hear the faint rumblings every now and then.
Yes, don't they know?
Who was it? Who activated? Was it one of the cultists or whatever?
Yeah,
As
the
far
idea
as
is,
we know, yeah.
Mhm.
It was essentially when we were having that. It was it wasn't the berserker guy, but it was some unknown, just one of the
Yeah.
cultists popped.
Somebody, you guys thought it was in the sea of moving ice, but they had moved it since then. This Drakhorn.
Robert says hello.
That's right.
Robert Chavez says hello.
Hello, Robert.
Thank you, Penny, and the other
So-
two followers.
Blagothkus slaps his hands together, which kind of creates another thunderclap of just sound. And he says, "Well, I'm here to collect you on behalf of this council of yours. They contacted me and said that an urgent meeting was needed, and you all needed to be there."
Sigh. Those guys in their meetings.
Well, that's bureaucrats for you. Anyway, and he...
we appreciate you going to such trouble on our behalf. We gladly accept a ride.
No problem at all. You have been a friend to me, and I don't forget friends often. And then he takes his hand and he just kind of sweeps it up, and this this rumbling cloud ramp forms and heads up to the drawbridge.
Is it like cloud and then all of a sudden it's like into stairs?
I was just gonna leave it a ramp, but now it's stairs. That's fine.
Cloud stairs.
Yep.
How convenient. We are sorry.
But they're
ladies and gentlemen.
giant-sized stairs.
The escalator has temporarily become stairs.
All right.
In case-
Any questions? Do we need to get anything? Are we good?
Well, we have our friend here. Is it okay if she comes
Esther?
along?
You want to join us?
You mean, do I want to go flying in a floating castle? Yeah.
It's pretty legit. Just don't piss anyone off.
And of course she's welcome. Any friend of the Order of the Broken Spear is a friend of Blagothkus.
If she dabs, does that automatically make it so she doesn't get to come on the show?
Yes, but she will not dab.
Dang it!
Only fools dab in my world.
Artemis did right.
Boys and buds.
It's the sign of Asmodeus.
Get out of here. Take your stuff and go.
Get out of here! You're not welcome.
Alright, and then without kind of a further word, he turns around and he starts tromping up Skyreach Castle.
I help Asta up the tall stairs.
It's not too difficult. But it's enough that like a normal NPC would have a few issues. So once you're all inside Skyreach Castle, I'm assuming nobody's gonna break the bowl here.
Oh, I think we're good. We're ready to rock.
Okay.
Not like the bird. But
Yeah. As soon as you guys are within, like, on the drawbridge, the storm clouds pick up and kind of dissipate into nothingness, and the drawbridge pulls up as you guys step inside. Stormreach Castle
Is
is...
he like a storm giant?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a storm giant.
Very nice.
Stormreach Castle, well, excuse me, tricky in my mouth,
Stormreach satchel.
is pretty much like you remember it. There's ogres guarding, or that are kind of manning the battlements, and they just kind of like look at you guys as you come in. A few at each trebuchet or ballista. The kobolds and the cultists are gone. Obviously, that's been removed since Blagothkus agreed to your aid, and there are actually a few more giants sitting around. There looks like there's a couple of rock giants that you guys remember from before. But there's also a few hill giants, and I think there's one more type of giant. I'm trying to remember. Oh, great tome of the Manual of Monsters. Tell me.
I'll give each of them kind of like a respectful head nod. Like, please don't rip off my arms.
I'll wave to the ones that we had spoken to previously in a small bow.
And they'll give you kind of a polite nod. There's actually a few more. There's frost giants. There's fire giants. You see kind of a representation of every single giant clan here.
Right. Definitely pulled out. Are we still with the king?
Blagothkus? Yes. By the way, he's not a storm giant. He's just a cloud giant.
It seems you have amassed quite the amount of support here. It's very, very...
Yes, this is kind of our own impromptu council. Most of the giants have agreed to join us. There are a few tribes that have already, unfortunately, sworn allegiance to Tiamat, but I gathered as many as I could in order to fight them.
We will definitely need, if our last engagement with them was any indication, we will need every ounce of help we can get.
I'm sure you have plenty of adventures and I'd love to hear them, but for now I need to get to the tower to take us off.
Indeed.
Feel free to use my facilities as you see fit. Mingle if you'd like, or hide if you're scared. That's not up to me.
May I, if I may, do you have any kind of teleportation circles that you might be allowing me to purvey for usage if need be in an emergency?
Afraid not. I don't allow teleportation circles. Only way in is flying.
I understand. Thank you.
Alright, and he tromps off
You fly.
Yeah.
and leaves you guys alone.
The castle just take off. Okay. I'm just gonna settle in for the ride, I guess.
I agree.
Maybe take in the sights over
Yeah.
one of the parapets.
There's plenty of like balconies too where you can, and if you go to like one of these balconies, there's a few like ogres that are.
This is my first time
like,
on flying castles.
yeah,
So.
they're maintaining. I believe they were using wyverns before, but they've replaced them with like rocks or with.
Do they have an aviary?
Yeah.
I want to go to the aviary. I'm looking for a certain bug-eyed individual.
Okay, you go ahead and roll me a perception check. Let's see if you find it.
Come on, googly eyes. 15 plus perception. That's 15.
No, you don't find googly eyes there. But he was working with the Emerald Enclave rather than the giants.
that's
so
true, that's
you might.
I was hoping.
not be able to find him here. But there are, like,
I'll
if you do
join
want.
Tavish on a balcony
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and just kind of like, well, how's your first time in a flying castle?
That's pretty amazing, actually. The magic required to keep this thing afloat must be enormous. You guys
Yeah,
have
it's a
had
good view, for sure.
Sorry, dog just punched me in the crotch.
Hey, I want some boof.
You drop something.
I'm so overcome with emotion.
It's just so beautiful.
This is so beautiful.
So pretty.
How often have you guys been in the castle?
Robert says that everyone claims a bunch of hippies.
I think this is our second or third time on this castle. So, not much more than you.
It is quite the experience. But I'm not there.
If you would like, you can also take a rock out, go flying around the castle a bit.
I'm sorry, my brain is just thinking of him like going and finding like a boulder and then sitting on top of it. Never ending story style on a boulder.
Yeah! You're too heavy, buddy. We're going down. Yeah.
So, what normally would be... Oh, and I would say that Esta is with you too, but she's dumbstruck with the fact that she's high up in the air, looking at Pony Hill as it fades into the distance. So what normally would be about a week, 2 weeks trip for you guys. Takes only a few days.
You said it was like 9 days last time or something?
Yeah, but it takes only about 2 days to get back to Waterdeep. And again, as you guys are approaching, you do see... Oh no, you guys didn't have any dragons in Waterdeep. You do see some defenses along the walls, kind of like pointing at the castle, and Bugothkus kind of slows it down as you are maybe about, I'd say about a mile or so out from...
It's called Skyreach Castle?
Waterdeep. Yep, Skyreach Castle.
Does anyone? Can you tell them down? Can anyone do Skywrite?
It's fine. They can't reach us out here. Plus, I think the council may have sent word ahead. If you're looking for a name.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
I just hope no one on that wall is trigger happy.
Of course. Well, this is probably where we'll be staying. Let me go ahead and put the castle down, and then you can exit and head back into Waterdeep, and let them know that we are available. We are willing to put aside any grudges and hold any sort of warlike nature of ours until after this threat has been defeated.
We will pass this along, and with their regards, yes.
So he puts down the castle. Again, settling the castle, kind of, he has to pick a specific area that's either barren or isn't much to look at, because he does leave a good chunk in the ground when he leaves, a good little crater. So he puts it down, and the drawbridge opens up, and you guys are allowed to exit. You make it all the way to the gate, and you see that there's already kind of this troop of uneasy-looking Waterdeep soldiers that are gathering up, and a captain looks at you, and she says, "You just came from the castle?"
Yeah, we did.
Is it friendly?
As far as we know, yes.
Right then. Stay sharp, men. As far as you know is not good enough for me, unfortunately.
They're
Totally friendly.
Yes, these guys are they bring their regards. They're coming to help us, and they are our allies. And you can count on them.
He did say we will stop our warlike and conquering nature for the time being. So
And for the time being, yeah, but it will be until we've dealt with the threat, and then afterwards you might have
I
something
didn't say
to
that
worry
out loud.
about.
That was meta knowledge.
Okay. They
That's why I was like,
they are our
as far
allies.
as we know, sure.
All right then.
Maybe.
Well, welcome to Waterdeep. Good luck in there.
Thanks, we're gonna need it.
It's good to be back.
So you guys enter through the gates. You're not harassed by the guards because you're not carrying a prisoner with you this time, which is nice. instead, Esta kind of looks around a little bit and she says, I'm kind of flabbergasted on where to go.
So I'm actually, I'm going to escort her to one of the inns
Okay.
that we had recently stayed at,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of get her set up there, and get her started, basically.
What was the one that you guys were at the past couple times?
The drunk, no, the
The traveling.
The traveling, and then it said your class.
Oh yeah.
whatever class it was. It was
Yeah.
So hers, like the traveling peasant.
The traveling NPC. The traveling commoner.
Wait a
That's an
second.
interesting name for a
I didn't
tavern.
know that I was a peasant.
So yeah, I'll take her there and just help her get set up. She's got, some of the money that
Yeah.
the extra money or whatever.
Yep, she got the extra money from you. She's got her savings, her life savings, basically.
What was her goal when she got here?
She wanted to find work. She didn't have a specific goal in mind. She knew that she was pretty helpful with the necromancer's research.
So she might be.
Her name was
Handle cost.
Yeah, with cost research. So she might be looking to do some sort of archival work, or she's not really entirely sure. She's kind of just a girl who decided to up and move one day.
Okay, so hand wavy so we get to this part, but I want to get her the inn. She gets a room there, and then I'm gonna tell her that after I'm done with the council, I will come and get you. And there's a Tinker's Guild. What would they call it? Tinker's Guild location.
Yeah,
I guess, in town.
A Tinker's Guild in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm part of, that we could see if they have any work available.
Seems like every time you go to Pony Hill, you take a Greenfield out of it and put him in a Tinker's Guild.
That's secret goal. It says right here, secret goal.
That's as good a place as any to start. Can I just meet back here at a specific time? I'd kind of like to explore the city.
Oh, no, you're free to go wherever you want. I'm not your keeper. I'm just telling you, I will be back as soon as council's done, but it could be hours and hours.
Sure.
So feel free to wander and just.
Great,
watch your
and
back.
she actually gives you a hug, and she says, "Thanks, I appreciate it, Tavish.
Is it a running joke? Rowan, Tabith. You're very welcome. Like I said, I'll be back shortly.
And she rushes off.
Okay.
And then you guys head to the same building that you've had the council in before. The guards at the front nod to you. They are Order of the Gauntlet guards this time. You can tell by the embroidered kind of like very, very stylistic fists.
Do they rotate through the different people?
Sort of. It's kind of like, we'll take up the guard shift this time, that sort of thing. And they usher you in immediately.
Which one of these is Order of the Gauntlet?
Ontharf Room is the Order of the Gauntlet, so you get to
Got
see
gauntlet thing.
the symbol there. Yep.
Haven Tree Harper, which I don't know her very well. Even though I'm a Harper.
No, you know Leosin.
I know
he's
Leosin,
not.
I know.
He's not their big representative. So you guys enter into the council chamber. The council is in full swing. They're discussing certain matters of just troop placement and how to feed an army this massive if they were to commit every soldier. Again, a lot of these councils are debating between whether or not each faction will provide their contribution. They're kind of all worried about their own homelands, that sort of thing. You do notice that in addition to all of these members, the ones that you've met before and seen before at the council, there is a tiefling woman, and in kind of
Lunera!
Nope, not that tiefling woman.
Do we recognize her from when? Because last time we heard Lunera had to talk to somebody. Is she
No, the person that Lunera talked to last
the
time
big
was
guy.
a spiked devil. Like,
spiked devil,
And he
Very
was
different.
basically like,
do what I say or die.
Yeah.
or calling in a debt or something.
And she is kind of just sitting
He
there.
made our list.
She's
down
got
on
her
this
feet
list.
up on the table next to Haven Tree, and she seems to be getting a few dirty looks from some of the council members, particularly. Let me see.
I like her already.
Especially if it's the dwarf or the what's his face,
Elf
elf
King.
guy.
It's Sir
Melandrak.
Istavel,
Melandrak,
Ontharf Room, and Braun Anvil are there. they're kind of giving her dirty looks, but then trying to like ignore her as much as possible.
Onthar's doing it.
Yep,
What?
Onthar is. He's
We should
and
get
not so much
some sense
like
about
Onthar is not so much giving her like he's not sneering at her or anything. He's just kind of giving her the side eye and then trying to look as anywhere else but at her.
He's got the hots for
Does,
her, guys.
He's never seen a tiefling before.
Well, he's seen
does-
Lunera plenty of
So
times.
is anyone talking to her?
No, she's just kind of sitting there. I mean, obviously they're in a council session. There's not like a lot of internal conversation going on.
Okay.
But she's just sitting there, like nobody's been addressing anything at her.
We're watching a magical PowerPoint slide.
Okay. So at this point, when we enter, is anybody like? Do they stop? Do they like? Is there a breaking conversation or anything?
Yeah, when you guys enter, Lady Silverhand actually stands up, the Open Lord of Waterdeep, and kind of gives you a curt nod.
Thornock, do you still have that head of the dragon?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I have it.
Yeah.
I've had it with me.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you know what? That sounds about right. Thornock's got that strapped to his back still.
I'm just wondering if we could not use it as a weird flex. Be like, you're welcome.
Just right in the center of the table, blood still
Would
dripping from.
Would I have grabbed the 3 heads from the other 3 dragons we fought?
Maybe
That's
fangs?
Probably not. That's probably gonna over encumber you.
Okay.
This single dragon head is pretty massive. I mean, you can grab
That's fine. I
fangs.
throw the other dragon head down on the table.
So it makes a loud kind of boom. Onthar like takes a step back.
Sorry,
the-
lady.
The tiefling lady actually doesn't react at all. She just kind of looks at it and goes back to cleaning her nails. And Lady Silverhand's eyebrows raise, and she says, "Is that for us?"
My Lady Silverhand. This is a recent, I guess, trophy of our recent engagements. It seems that the cult of the Dragon Queen is becoming more belligerent and bombastic with their approach to their. They're not in hiding any longer.
We've been noticing that as well. Is this green dragon one that just tried to attack you?
We have attacked this green dragon was one that we sought out. It was afflicting many of the folk.
Forest elves.
The forest elves. King Melandrak might have more
What
input
else?
on the subject.
King Melandrak leans forward and he says, "This is Choth, then."
Yes.
It is.
You've stopped the dragon attacks in the Misty Forest.
I want to get a read on him and see if he's like. You know how people are uncomfortable when they know that there's like some shameful thing they don't want.
Insight.
Okay. 19 plus.
He actually looks genuinely surprised.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's hiding anything at all.
Okay. Does not
What
know
was
from like his son's.
so the town, the
disgrace.
little village we went to? Who was the leader of that village?
It was.
Hold on.
Elf leader number one
I'll wait.
was extremely pleased that the dragons were no longer.
That was Jimmy, Chuck the Dragon, Alor Garthus is the prince that was his brother, Niren Vane, Ride of the Dragon.
Nirenvane
Yeah,
is
let's not-
the one that
Let's
you
not
guys
mention
captured.
that in public. I'd like to say, Your Highness, we'd like to speak to you, perhaps in private, after the meeting about some personal matters regarding what we found while we were in the forest.
I do
course.
say that the village name was
Yeah.
getting hit really hard, and now they are.
Of course.
Now they are much safer.
Thank you for basically defending my people. I also heard that you specifically sent some of the metallic dragons that you were able to convince to our side to
Yes.
the Misty Forest.
Yes, indeed, and I hope that both sides are able to set aside their differences and work together.
I certainly have been doing my part to roadblock this council. I will endeavor to not stand in the way any longer, seeing that this threat is more grave than I thought.
We are very grateful, King Melandrak. It is wise and wonderful of you to do so. I don't know.
Excellent.
Some flighty words.
And Lady Silverhand kind of waves over at a few of the guards, and then at the dragon head, and they come over and start hauling it away, basically. And she says, unless you want that, of course.
I look at Thornock.
I zoned out.
Do you want it?
Want what?
Would you
I
like
think we could part with it.
The dragon head.
the dragon head?
The dragon head? No, it was just a weird flex.
The
Yes.
dragon ways like
Yep,
stabs it.
they take it away, and she says, if you would like to have a seat, we were just finishing up discussions, and then we can get to a few matters with you, so that we can get those wrapped up quickly.
Excellent.
I would be super excited. Do we get to sit at the table? Is that what she's asking?
Yeah.
Let's just sit at the. Oh,
That'll be
heck
exciting.
yeah.
That'll be exciting.
I'm gonna like prance over there, pull the chair out all cool,
Can I?
pop a squat.
My lady Silverhand, if I'm not imposing too. Well, I know many of the faces in this room, but we are not acquainted with my lady here. I have gestured to the tiefling lady.
Of course. Order of the Broken Spear. This is Rian Nightshade.
Rian, how do you spell it?
Oh, we heard
R-I-A-N.
about her.
Oh, just call her Ryan.
Excellent.
If you'd like to.
My lady Ryan.
She comes to us from an organization known as the Zentarim, providing us with potential aid and information.
My lady Nightshade, it is a pleasure to be of your acquaintance, and I do really just bow.
Pleasure to meet you as well. And then she kind of pulls out one of the chairs and pats it for you to sit down.
Excellent. I sit in it, and the table's like right here. So then I get on my knees and I get up and I kind of look around for one of the servant guys and be like,
And he's like, what?
"Do you have something I said?"
Oh, right.
He just lays down on the chair.
I was going to be like,
And
you
you
want
sit
me to
on
do
it.
this myself?
I
or-
snap my fingers and cast fly and I flip him off.
No, he'll get you a box.
And I'm like doing the genie gin float.
So the rest of you guys sit down just at the end of the table. Brahm sits next to Rian. Somebody can sit next to Ontharr if they'd like.
I will. He's my buddy.
Yeah. And he gives you a nod, and then the rest of you can just kind of sit at either side or on the end. And Lady Silverhand says, "Well, since our champions are here, I would prefer if we can table the discussion of proper rationing for now and move on to more important matters, namely our next steps and our information from both our Zentirum and Harper friends." And everybody kind of nods in agreement. They do a quick impromptu vote. And she says, one thing first though, we do want to thank you again for getting the Council of Metallic Dragons on our side. They have sent a representative to kind of observe in the wings, and she waves over, and you can see this kind of the small kind of silver-haired gnome just kind of sitting there watching, very bored looking. And despite the concessions that were required to be made, we are grateful for the allies and grateful for your services.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of nods. Braun Anvil and King Melendrak specifically look a little more miffed about the concessions than everybody else. Are kind of like, yeah, well, I guess, yeah, because they were the ones who actually were, if you remember, forced to give kind of reparations more to the other dragon clans.
Yeah.
Now, I'll turn the time over to Rian, who has some interesting information that may lead to a great boon against the Cult of the Dragon.
Excellent.
And Rian nods and kind of gets her boots off the table and leans forward, gets her elbows on the table instead, and she goes, "My spies have been looking around, and they found something interesting. Specifically, they found somebody looking for you folks, the Order of the Broken Spear."
Intriguing.
And she kind of pulls this letter out of one of like her kind of, she wears this kind of like long overcoat kind of thing, one of those classic vampire hunter style, like trench coats. Yeah. And she pulls a letter out of it and hands it to Brom.
Throw a dagger, no
And she says, "This apparently comes from a member of the Cult of the Dragon."
I don't do anything.
And everybody kind of murmurs a little bit, like, this doesn't seem good. And Antar says, "Why didn't you give that to us when you first came here, Lady Nightshade?"
Could just be a birthday.
Well, it was adjusted in order of the broken spear, was it not?
And Antar, like, he stops a moment and he goes, "Well, of course, yes, you're right. My apologies."
If you'd like, I don't know if there's any way to.
You can read it out loud to the council if you want.
I want to open it, but I'm afraid that it might be trapped or some other nefarious purpose.
Oh, I already checked it for traps. There's none of those.
Okay, Robert. I'm gonna look at her. I'm gonna see if she's lying to me.
Go ahead.
Do I trust her? 15 plus investigation, or is this insight?
It's insight. Always insight.
Okay, 14. So that's gonna be 19 total.
19. It's kind of hard to tell with her, but I mean, she's got no reason to lie.
All right. My lady Silverhand, if I may have the floor for a moment, I'd be happy to read this out loud. If
Please.
one moment, I unscroll it.
You're going to be reading the block on the right there.
Okay, the yellow block.
Yep.
You don't know me, but we can help each other immeasurably. My name is Iskander, and I made a terrible mistake joining the Cult of the Dragon. The cult's horrifying plans are sure to bring doom to all, but I can stop those plans with your help. Rescue me from the cult's clutches, and I will deliver to you the prize of the prizes, the blue dragon mask. Without it, the Severin faces an insurmountable setback in his effort to call Tiamat back to this world. Have we heard Severin before?
Yes.
Okay, so we know who Severin is.
Sort of. And what we can
Severin Snot.
we can redo kind of our knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mask here is in Zonthal's tower, being studied and guarded by only a handful of wizards, including myself. The danger of my treason becoming known grows with every passing day, and if I am discovered, I'll surely be killed. Please hurry for the sake of everyone and everything you value.
When you mention the dragon mask, everybody kind of starts murmuring to one another, and
There goes James's weapon.
God.
Sounds like a trap.
Well,
Say,
I think first and foremost, I'd like to take out my fire starter and burn the letter.
Okay. Yeah. So
Wait,
you
what was the guy's name again?
and it's gone.
What, you weren't listening? Iskander.
Yep.
Iskander. Okay, I'm
Like-
writing that down.
Yeah, like
Iskanderus.
Iskander.
So just to give you a brief update or reminder on Severin, because he was mentioned specifically in this, because I don't know if we've talked about him before, but you guys should know about him at this point.
Okay.
Severin is the current leader of the Cult of the Dragon. He's the one who has changed everybody from their usual path of making Draco Liches as servants into finding these dragon masks and trying to bring Tiamat back herself. Yeah. He's actually I believe he is a red wizard from Thay.
God damn it.
What else broke?
Those people thing,
Adam's
man.
character, Marissa's character.
Does he look like? Does he look like I'm expecting?
Yes, he does look like you're expecting. Or at least he would look like that if you had seen him, but you've never seen him before.
This is Reese asking.
Yep.
He marks it on his chest.
And finally, after all of it dies down, Sir Istavel leans forward and he says, "Well, you have to go."
And Sir Estevel, his relation to us at this point has been strictly in the
council. Yes.
I want to
It
read
seems like a trap.
9.
I'd say
13.
It's too great of a potential win for us against the Bolt to ignore.
Istavel nods
That's my
at
point. Is
Ari's.
it's too good to be true.
Is there any way that we can perhaps verify his findings? Has the Zentarum been able to have any spies in that region?
Zonthal's tower? I might have a few spies there I can tap into.
I would say if we can receive more intel, then it might be more worthwhile.
I know it's one tough nut to crack, and I know that its owner has been the Cult of the Dragon for a few months now, at least.
I say I could fairly easily, I think, sneak my way in and try to discover if this person is who he says he is.
She kind of laughs and she says, "Sorry, hun. I know that you might be a big fancy sneaky person, but nobody's sneaking into that tower easily. It's surrounded by some of the best enchantments and illusions that I've ever seen."
Fine, then I'll sneak my way in with difficulty.
So, is there any other information about this place that you might be able to help us with to give us an edge? I know that we do have probably the best wizard this side of the Sword Mountains. What are they called? Not the Sword Coast.
The spine of the world?
The
Spine of the World, is that what it's called?
If you're going south?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spine of the World.
South of Spine of the World right here. This is the one and only Accio. I'm sure that he can dispel any illusions.
The Accio?
The...
Never heard of it.
Never heard of him, don't know.
Yep. Well, now you have.
You
You're in the
probably
know.
haven't heard of me. Don't listen to him.
Well, I don't know any other information off the top of my head, but I do know that if there's dissension in the Cult of the Dragon, it's probably in our best interest to capitalize on it.
The
Let's
enemy
say
of our enemy
we
is our
were
friend.
to take this letter at face value and attempt to infiltrate this castle. How would you suggest going about doing it? Via disguise? Is there an entrance that we might be able to get into that is less well guarded?
So,
Once we were inside, how would we find this person?
Sure. Zonthal's Tower is actually two distinct locations that share the same name, right next to each other. There's the village, which kind of sprung up around Zonthal's Tower, and there's Zonthal's Tower itself. The only way into the tower, which is where Iskander is probably waiting, is through the expansive mystical hedge maze set up by Zonthal himself when he created the tower.
Do you know if there are blocking
We do
any
have
arcane...
experiences with head mazes.
It's true. Do you know if there's any arcane, like if we were to try and get a message to him, if they would be thwarted? Has anyone tried to...
Afraid not. The people around the village might know a little bit more, but I unfortunately don't know too much about the area.
What was the village's name?
Zonthal's Tower.
Just Zonthal's Tower. That's
Yep.
the
The
village.
village is also called Zonthal's Tower.
Got it.
'Cause that's not
Oh, well, I've got a bad feeling about it, but I don't think we have too much of a choice.
wonderful. Says
I vote we go.
Silver-handed. She says, I second the motion, or third it at this point. All in favor of the Order of the Broken Spear investigating this and potentially grabbing the Blue Dragon Mask? And everybody kind of nods around the table and all raise their hand in favor of it. They all realize that this is a huge boon. And Rian kind of raises her hand too, but it's kind of that half-hearted. I know I probably don't get a vote, but I'm going to vote anyway. Okay. And one more thing from our friends over at the Harpers. And she turns to Ramilda?
Yeah.
Ramala?
Ramala, yeah.
Ramalia, and she stands up and says, "Thank you. Order of the Broken Spear, we also received an emissary from Thay. Directly.
Freaking day.
I'm well aware of everybody's feelings about the Red Wizards on this council." And she kind of looks around at a couple of the grumbling faces, but King Malandrak actually says, "I'm going to say that we should focus on recruiting as many people as possible at this point. I'm more on the side of caution than I am on any other side."
Indeed. We have seen many people become undone by underestimating their enemies.
And she says, they are looking for a delegation to come treat with their leaders. I don't believe you'll be treating with their primary leader directly. but they are interested in hearing our side of the story as far as the Cult of the Dragon goes, before determining if they are going to provide us with any sort of aid. Needless to say, the Wizards of Thay would be a great boon to fight those who have broken away from Thay to serve the cult.
Or raise the throng of dead in their wake.
From what I understand, that would be a very interesting thing to have on our side, but I also hear that they have skills in summoning devils, which may also be useful for us. So, after your mission in Zonthal's Tower is done, you may want to head directly to Thay, and she kind of snaps her fingers a little bit, and one of the Waterdeep the servants come over and hands whoever is closest, whoever wants to take it, a kind of a writ saying that you are official ambassadors from the council.
I'll grab it.
And she says, if you wouldn't mind leaving as soon as possible, this mission seems like it's very critical. The Zonthal's Tower mission. The Thay one is also important, but it probably can wait.
Indeed.
And at which point she stands up and she says, I think we'll take a 5-minute break. King Melindrak, I know that you would like to speak with them alone after them asking you, and he's ding. She kind of dings the bell to say that's 5-minute break. There's 5 minutes, everyone. And everybody kind of gets up and wanders off in the area. As you guys are getting up and getting ready to follow King Melindrak out into his room, the silver-haired gnome comes over, and she smiles at the group and she says, I just wanted to say that the Council of Metallic Dragons expresses their condolences at the loss of your companion.
Indeed. Well, she's not lost yet.
Well, I mean, she's in hell. That's kind of as lost as you can get, I suppose.
Indeed.
But let them know, let the council know, to let you guys know we are still fighting for you.
We appreciate it.
And then she bows and she heads off. So you guys head over into the next room. King Melindrak is there. A couple of his guards are there as well, but he dismisses them. And he says, "You wish to speak with me alone?"
Yeah, Preston. What was the name of
Neron Bane?
his son that he left in charge?
Neron Bane.
The good one or the bad one?
The good one.
The good one was
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Pretty much. Hold on.
Oligarthus.
Oligarthus. Neron Bane's the naughty one.
Yeah. Okay. I just say, Your Majesty, have you heard from Oligarchus lately? Has he sent word or any message since we left the council?
I have not. Has something happened to him?
No. When we last saw him, he was pale and leading your people as well as can be expected in your absence.
That's a relief.
I say, when's the last time you saw your other son?
My other son?
Neron Bane. I think I have my notes that it's his brother. The brother of Oligarthus.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if he was supposed to be dead or not.
I think we disarmed him and we brought him back.
No, not you guys. Not from you guys. From. Let's see.
From the people. The people has spoken. Quick question for those who are remote.
My son has been dead for many years.
I say, we have some troubling news concerning him. We found that, in fact, he was still alive and in league with the cult. He was the one who was leading the attacks from the Green Dragon on people, on our people. We managed to capture him alive and turned him over to Oligarchus before we left. But I wanted you to know, so that you can take whatever measure you feel necessary to communicate with both of your sons and mete out justice as you see fit.
Indeed.
You see there's this look of cold fury on King Melindrak's face at this revelation, but he manages to simply nod and say, I appreciate your candor in telling me this in private. And he looks specifically at Ari and he says, you're not nearly as rough and tumble as I once thought.
I'm sort of very, like, I don't know, humbled. I get a little misty-eyed, you know, and I bow deeply and say, your words mean more than you could know, but I still feel that I'm perhaps not as much of a wood elf as I aspire to be.
Well, you have plenty of time, he says. And then he stands up and he says, if you'll excuse me, there are a few things that I must attend to. And then, without another word, he just storms off. Like, he looks very focused on something new, something bad. So you guys exit the council chamber after that, heading back outside into Waterdeep. And once you get outside, you actually are met by Rian, who is standing outside, kind of taking a pipe smoke break. And she says,
that sounds nice.
And she says, you guys are going to Zonthal's tower then? Immediately?
I believe the sooner we can get there, the better. It seems that time is not on our
As soon
side.
as we sell all of our gray items.
Well, let me give you a healthy tip of advice then.
Okay.
Clear out the tower. Just clear out the tower. Make sure there's no cultists there that can lay claim to it once you're done.
All right.
All right?
Can I do a perception or insight check on them?
Sure.
That's a 4. No.
She's probably hiding from you, or hiding something from you. She's a spy.
All right, wizard, keep your secrets.
I say, why is that? What threat could one cultist do?
It's not so much a threat that could happen. It's just a bit of friendly advice from one friend to another. And then she kind of taps out her pipe on the side of the building, and then says, "It's been about 5 minutes. Excuse me," and she'll walk back into the council.
That's the Zentarum lady,
Yep.
right? I said, before you go, if you happen to come across one of our friends in any of your travels, Lunira, let her know that we are thinking of her, and that we will if she wants us to help her, then we are here for her.
Don't quite make it back to hell that often.
I know. But I'll make it worth your while, and I'll throw 2 gold pieces at her. Not really.
She'll
throw,
catch
but, like,
him,
toss
and,
it.
and she'll say, "I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for the 2 gold." And then she'll head inside. All right. So if there is anything that you guys need to sell, we can talk about it later. Probably make another spreadsheet, and I can give you pricing and everything, just so that we can keep this moving on along.
The only thing that I this is more for Accio, I want to approach him and be like, I know that we've had some troubles lately, and I've got something for you. And I'm going to take off my elven chainmail, medium armor that you can wear even if you're not proficient with it. And I'm going to say, here you go.
Really?
Wow. Thank you.
So add elven chainmail. You gain +1 to bonus AC when you wear this armor. You're considered proficient with this armor even if you lack proficiency with medium armor. Which means, if he has proficiency in it, he can still do casting, right?
Yeah.
So, yep. So I'm going to
So
remove that from my
what
list.
does that make your armor class at?
It's a 14 plus 1, so I think it makes you. You're gonna make you 15, because you're 11, right? Base.
What is it? The Elven chain?
Elven chainmail.
Okay.
And then
Everything.
Every one of those had broken pieces.
That takes me to a 16 because I took a point in Dex.
there you go, my friend.
So that bumps me up.
This will hopefully serve you well. I have in my notes silver dragon armor. Do you know what that means? I don't know what
Armor
that
from the
means.
silver dragon?
I'm just looking through my notes to find just some medium armor, and that was the closest thing I saw was silver dragon armor, but I
Does
don't know.
Does it have a page number or anything on it?
Unfortunately, no. I don't. This was right around Outland City. Wood Elves will be looking for the Mask Bearer. Raids have ceased, and is concerning Dallin, Winterhound of Emerald. Dallin of Emerald Enclave wants us to go where King Melodrak wants us to go where King Melodrak's armor's at. The silver dragon armor's right in there. I don't know.
Where King Melodrak's armor is at.
Yeah, go to where King. I think it's supposed to say where his. I don't know why it says armor. Maybe I was like, silver dragon armor, King Melodrak armor.
Nope, no idea.
Okay, dang it.
Yep, that is not something.
I'll have to go back and watch the things and find out what it is
Yeah.
because I have no idea.
Because you guys went to the Council of Metallic Dragons on the back of a silver, I believe.
That
So I
Yeah,
wonder if
yeah.
it was silver dragon and
from
then
her
armor is supposed to be a separate line
maybe
because Lunira got copper dragon armor,
that's probably.
but she didn't get silver.
Okay.
Sadly, she had to take it to hell.
No.
I don't think she had a choice.
I
but
just want to do a quick purchase then of just some medium scale mail or something.
Go
And then
right ahead.
That's pretty much the only thing that I would need.
Is there anything that anybody absolutely 100% needs before we leave? Potions or anything?
How many health potions do we have left? Because you have that whole batch of them in your bag of holding. What are we at?
Hang on, he's adding.
No, you're talking to me. I have. Excuse me. We have potion of healing 23 for your
I think we're good.
potion of greater healing 32, and for
Jeez.
potion of superior healing 2.
You have 32
Well,
potions of greater healing.
I think we're in good shape.
Because she bought a whole bunch of those little ones, then she bought a couple of the big ones, and then later I bought a bunch of the big ones.
Okay.
Can we go look at a weapon shop to see if there's any super cool sweet art?
I'll tell you right now, you're not gonna find anything super magical in an armor shop. You're just gonna have basic stuff.
What about a breastplate plus 2?
Nope.
So I just need.
I'm considering trying to get this ring removed off my finger, but I kind of like living dangerously. So
As the player, Reese, please don't, because I would love to see what happened.
Here's your list of prices, by the way, for medium armor and such.
Can I buy another whole case of healing potion?
Yeah. So, like, how many do you want to grab?
I don't know, like 20. Probably of the greater.
So the shopkeep that you guys usually go to has 97 regular healing potions on him. 94 greater healing potions.
Wow.
And 17 superior healing potions.
I want.
How much are the superior?
Yeah, how much?
Superior, I'll need the book back for that. So just a
Okay,
second.
You need the player's handbook?
Yeah, I do. PHP. In fact, it might be in here. It might be in the DMG. I'm not sure.
Superior
What would be the closest thing to these?
says it doesn't have a cost on D&D Beyond for some reason.
For which one?
Superior.
Some of them don't.
They. Superior Yeah, it doesn't have a cost.
What? Potion of Healing Supreme. That's what we need.
16, and if I go to regular
With
security,
like pepperoni and green peppers.
it's.
Yeah, a plus 20 pepperoni.
I'm
green
assuming
mushroom.
that
sausage
this
pizza.
regular potion of healing is because it's 23 of them, but it says it's 1,150 gold pieces. But that seems like it's probably because it's saying for 23 of them, that's how much selling all of them would cost. Thanks for the follow. So, what would you think on here? So he's got these kind of like Japanese, whatever. I'm thinking more like splint mail, maybe. It's either splint mail, breastplate,
Everyone's
half
favorite time.
Just a quick
Shopping.
one.
The shoulder things.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Yeah.
plate mail. I don't know. Or no, not plate mail. That's heavy.
They might be like hardened, some kind of hardened leather.
Like
You know?
half plate, maybe.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
breastplate. Right.
Apparently, I have a green dragon tooth. Or a dragon tooth from the green dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to sell that.
Yeah, again, any sort of minor sellings or anything we can handle off
There you go.
camera. I don't have to worry about
Okay.
that.
Breastplate. All right. I'm just gonna go with this splint.
The splint mail.
And
All right,
these are
so-
just the flat ones, right? Just the or not split. That's heavy.
Also, by the way, they do have one potion of supreme healing, which
Yeah.
does 10d4 plus 20 HP. It is very rare. Okay, so regular healing potion is 50 gold. Greater healing potion is 100 gold. Superior healing potion is 150. And the supreme healing potion is actually 300 gold.
So I'm gonna buy the supreme healing potion and all of the greater healing.
Well, hang on. Other people want greater healings too.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I'm gonna just
97.
I'm gonna distribute.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking there were only 17 of the greater, or was that the
Superior.
superior?
There was
Oh,
96
then I'll
of the
take the
graders.
superior and the supreme.
Okay, so it's gonna be 300 gold for the supreme. 2 times.
Oh boy.
You need an alchemist. or whatever. you
I
call
can.
it.
I have alchemy
Yeah.
tool, and I'm proficient with it.
So
I guess I can
for
make some.
the complete stock of the supreme healing potion and the superior healing potions, you're out 2,850 gold.
I'd rather die.
You said 2,850 gold.
Yes, because it's
Okay.
It's 150 for each of the superior ones, and then 300 for the supreme.
I have almost 8,000 gold, so I'm not super worried about.
And then are you guys buying any of the graders?
How many would be? How many are left?
I think we're at level the greater.
97,
97.
I would like. How much are they again?
100 gold each.
I'll take. If it's 100 gold, 25. That'd be 2,500 gold.
25 gold.
We have a lot already, guys.
I think I'm okay.
I'll take it.
We're stocked.
We just need to burn
So
money.
how many greater do you have in the bag of holding?
Right now, greater. I have. Right now, longbow, rapier. Sorry. The
Colby,
Yeah.
add 7 superior healing potions to your inventory.
So you guys have 32 greater
Thank
healing
you.
potions in
Now,
Bronze bag of holding
Oh,
right now.
Lunaris.
So do you want to pass those out so that people can have a few?
I can distribute them. Yeah.
Okay.
How many you want?
I'll take 8 of them.
Okay, take 8. I'll pull this down.
I need 0 of them.
Okay. All right. Anyone else need?
Yeah, I'll take some.
Okay, I will mark down how many you want.
I'll take 5.
Okay.
Is that the greater, or just the standard?
That's the greater.
Okay.
You guys have standard too, but you also have greater.
You said 5 of those?
Yeah.
4, 5. Got it.
Okay.
Mock down.
I think I'm good for now with the 7 potions that Thornop just gave me. So
Oh yeah, so Thornot gave you 7 of the superior ones.
yeah.
Okay.
We're all walking around with like all these bottles. Ting, 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 ting. Hanging from your belts.
Thankfully, the bag of holdings that you guys have usually cover most of that up.
Disadvantage on your stealth checks.
All right, so you guys have a destination in mind, Zonthal's Tower. Upon you spend the rest of the day getting what you need to together. Brahm gets fitted for his new scale mail. Is it scale or split?
This one is half plate.
Half plate.
The splint was heavy, so half plate is.
Yeah. So you get fitted for your half plate. You introduce Esta to the Tinkers Guild. They're more than happy to have her on as an assistant, kind of.
I was thinking about
record-keeper.
specifically Professor Furlong because he might need an assistant of some sort, like research assistant or whatever.
Is there anything that you give Professor Furlong while you're there? Because did you have any items on you?
I don't think I grabbed anything. I might have picked some. Oh, I did grab some like dragon's scales and teeth.
Hide. You also
Okay.
got some hide, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give that stuff to him.
Okay. Perfect. He asks how the bullet's doing.
So far so good. It is kind of hard to control at times.
Yeah, I may have given it a little too much pizzazz.
He tried to eat me. Am I there?
Yeah, you can come with it if you like.
He tried to eat me.
I mean, you are morsel sized, so
True.
for a large boulette. But otherwise, he's working wonderfully.
Perfect. Glad to hear.
In fact, he is actually out. Like, pretty
Yeah.
much follows me around, kind of like a familiar,
Mhm.
when he's in his little small form or
Yeah.
whatever.
He grabs like a piece of metal and kind of waves it in front of it, and it starts like tugging on it and munching on it. And then the next, if you guys want to leave, you can leave that evening, or you can wait till the morning. Obviously, that's up to you.
Let's leave under cover of darkness.
Yeah, cover
Yeah,
darkness
let's
works.
head out.
Okay. So the place that you're going is actually, it's the northern part of the Grey Peak Mountains.
Could we hitch a ride with Blagockus?
If you'd like to ask him.
I would like to implore Bagothkus. And is there anything last time we talked with him, aside from him like glorifying battle and wanting to like that was his motivating force? Was there anything else like compensation wise that we remember him like treasure or like sparkly things or anything?
No, he was just kind of agreeing to help you. You guys made a really good case.
I just don't want to like be that guy that stays too long and then like get off my couch.
Also, nobody mentioned the giants at the council, but I
Oh.
assume that that was something
Yes.
that you guys mentioned.
I would
So, yeah.
dig it. By the way, there's big tall guys
Yeah.
outside of town. Not trying to kill you. For now.
Yeah, we're gonna hand wave that just because that would be something that
Pretty big.
a normal party of heroic adventurers would not have forgotten to mention.
Did you tell them? We'll be right back.
But you get back to the Skyreach Castle. There's a couple hill giants out in front, kind of one's tossing a boulder to the other, and they're just throwing it back and forth. They barely even notice you as you enter in. Blagockus is there talking with the fire giant.
Tossing a sheep back and forth.
Yeah. Blagockus is talking to one of the fire giants, and then he sees you approach, and he nods to the other giant and stands up and says, "Well, welcome back. I'm surprised things went so quickly. Usually council sessions take a lot longer."
Indeed, well, we have a lot to talk about. And speaking of which, would you mind if we call a ride to this place? Is you familiar with it?
Yeah, the northern part, the Grey Peak Mountains.
Yes, there's a tower there that we are trying to get close to without being spotted. Do you think that is something, or at least get close enough that we can travel there without?
I can get you close, but if you don't want to be spotted, you're probably going to have to be set down several miles away from any sort of tower or village or anything.
I mean, for all I care, you could set it down on the tower itself and smash it to bits, but that's neither here nor there. Yes, if we could do something like that, would that be amenable for everyone?
that would be a great help to us. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, all right then.
If
We're
there's
taking off, everyone.
If there's anything we can do to be of service while we are here to help, thank you for your graciousness.
Yes, one simple thing. Don't get underfoot.
Yes, all right.
And then he goes tromping off back towards that kind of central tower where he goes to move the castle.
I'll cast mislead and have my little mislead guy go under his foot when he's running or walking, and then just when he steps on it.
Yeah, he definitely does. And then he like. Get him below deck.
No.
He's like, ah, punch you.
So he takes off. Skyreach Castle again, rumbles into the air, and
just a
stretches
fifth level
off into the
spell.
distance.
Just a 5th level spell, you know. Didn't
Yeah,
no big deal.
yeah. You get a long rest, so it's okay. Because your last trip took you 2 days. This actually takes you probably about 5 or so. So half of a week, half of a 10-day, to get to this castle. And you land down and kind of settle in towards kind of a wooded area. You can see the Grey Peak Mountains rising in the distance. And he says, "This is probably as close as I'll be able to get you, without being seen."
That will work.
We appreciate it. It's better than walking.
Not a problem at all. I should be here for the next few days. I don't have anywhere else to be. If you manage to make it back in time, I might be able to ferry you once more.
That would be a great boon for us.
Well, best of luck to you, champions.
Thank you for your assistance.
We'll step off into the wilderness. Shoot. Okay. Just trying to figure out how to get that item pulled in.
Okay. So, you guys head off in towards the village of Zonthal's Tower.
Okay.
You actually see this kind of thin village spread out along the line, and then this large green maze rising up behind it as kind of the backdrop for this village. A bunch of very well manicured hedges that make up this kind of jumble of a maze, and then beyond that you see this squat tower with a long staircase heading up to it. It's not the biggest tower you've ever seen, but it's a fair sized tower that you presume is Zonthal's. The settlement, kind of as a little bit of general knowledge that you guys would have picked up, the settlement began as a place where Zonthal's apprentices established homes of their own, and then as years passed, more settlers were drawn to the area, and the village is smaller now than in the tower's heyday, but about 300 people live here or so, and they kind of are wandering around as you guys get there. It's getting towards sundown, it's or well, actually, probably say it's about sunup, so that you get a good view.
How do we want to conceal ourselves in our attire and things? I assume that we're becoming a little more well known. Our reputation might precede us before we enter the town.
So,
Yeah.
try to sneak in or disguises.
Do we see, like, from afar? Do we see any, like, purple robes? No
Nope.
Purple robes. Okay, I won't bust out the purple robes. I don't have seeming yet. Dang it. Alright, well, I just want to make sure that my cloak is kind of pulled up tight, I guess, and just, like, the typical strider where you try and just cover your usual flashiness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you guys enter in just kind of subtly. The villagers are just kind of greet you. There are a few other people, like you do see somebody on the way in, you see somebody leaving, kind of thing. So it's not like this village is completely in the middle of nowhere where nobody else is coming to.
Okay.
But life just seems to be going on. There doesn't seem to be any sort of major issue.
Okay.
As you guys kind of approach the main part of the village, you do see that there is a single area in the village that people tend to just kind of skirt around.
Okay.
And that is the actual entrance to this hedge maze, the only entrance that you've actually seen.
Interesting. Is it from a visibly? Do we see any like guards or any?
No, actually, well, I mean, there's a few like patrolling, wandering around, just kind of the standard city militia guards. But there's not like any guards at the entrance to the maze or anything like that.
Well, what do you guys think? Do we go in headlong or do we want to try and get information?
Well, not sure what kind of information we might
Well,
be
if
able
we-
to pick up.
If we start asking around too, that might. If there's any
Tip 'em off.
cult of the dragon here, and what is that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's in the tower, right?
We don't really want to make ourselves known, though.
Yeah,
There could be
I say we
enemies,
just go
spies
ahead
and
and
informers.
give it a
I say we just go in.
I agree.
Right, let's do it.
Okay, so you guys
There you go.
start heading towards the entrance to the maze.
Mm-hmm.
You're about
I'm
to.
invisible.
Stealthily.
Yeah. It's hard to be stealthy in the middle of a village with people wandering about. And one old man in like a rocking chair sees you approach and he goes, "Trying to head inside? Be careful. Very few come out of
Say-
that maze."
You betcha, old timer.
Well,
Old, I'm 33.
Time works differently here, boy.
we appreciate your concern. We are here to on official business.
All right. Well,
I heard
best of luck to
artificial
you.
business.
We're on artificial
It's
business.
not real business, artificial.
You ain't here to dismantle the tower, are you?
Oh, of course not. We're here to
Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Just keep walking.
The whispering voice of Ari in your ear because she's invisible.
Is
Well,
there ghosts in this town?
Well, best of luck to you. What'd you roll? Did you roll an insight on the old man?
No, I was just rolling to see how much like the hooks got into. Yeah, I'm.
Well,
I like gossip.
again, best of luck to you. But be very careful.
Maybe
Does he
somebody
cackle?
should ask him
As
Don't go down that road.
Somebody ask him if he has any other advice or why he's advising caution.
I'll
I don't
ask
want to
him.
talk because I'm invisible.
It's been some time since we've been to this town. Is there any reason that we should be?
Well, if you've been here before, you should have heard the rumors about the maze.
It's been a little while. My memory's quite hazy. Can you please remind me?
Well, Zonthal made that maze to be pretty much impossible to get through so that he could have peace and quiet in his tower. So, very few people who go into that maze come back, and those that do, they're pretty worse for the wear.
I see. That's as good to remember, because I remember it.
And people came in and out and didn't bother to make a map.
Oh, you can't make a map in the maze, son. That thing will just get you.
I don't remember.
Good to know.
Ask him if he has any advice for getting through it, any rumors.
Do you have any advice on getting through unharmed?
Unfortunately not.
Wow, that's
Okay, well,
Quite
you
perplexing.
have a good night, sir.
You as well. So,
That guy was creepy.
Give him the old lazy eye.
lazy eyes.
Alright.
So as you prepare to step onto the garden path into the maze, you notice movement high up on the tower.
Okay.
A human male dressed in black robes stands on the balcony, waving something over his head.
Did you get my letter?
It's hard to make out the details at this distance, but you believe it might be a blue mask.
Oh, snap.
Whoa.
Suddenly an arrow
How did he know
hits
it was us?
Akio.
Cast fly.
And then he goes boom,
That's a choice,
boom.
sir.
It's like Bug Zapper.
So he tries to shout something at you, but he's it's pretty far away. So you just get the words "heroes," "mass."
How far is he? Like
Stop
physical
shouting.
Probably
Pay
about
attention.
100 yards.
100
so.
yards.
Maybe.
Can I cast
I'm
message?
gonna do a minor illusion of just a thumbs up.
Okay.
Like, hopefully you can see it.
Maybe
Big thumbs up.
Maybe
Cast
one of
it.
us should just like fly up there.
I didn't prepare fly. Sorry.
Oh, well, Thornock has boots.
I have.
I do have boots.
Thornock
Ooh,
has
yeah.
boots.
Okay.
You can try it.
There's probably magic over the maze or something, but good luck.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is not going to be, the how it should have ended, Lord of the Rings. Oh wait, you mean we can just bypass this whole maze in the tower, fly up there, grab them, and take off? Great.
Fly, you fools!
Corey's like, oh, why didn't I think about the
Yeah.
fly spell?
No, I was waiting to be able for the old man to say, "You didn't think it was gonna be that easy, did you?"
Like I said, the hall.
So as you guys are talking, he also lifts something else over his head. Eagle Eye, Tavish, and Ari notice that it looks like it's a white hourglass, right? And he kind of waves it around and points at it, and then as he sets it down, another figure appears with like a blade in its hand from behind him, and he spins around, and you can see this flash of steel and spellfire, and then all of a sudden both the figures kind of dive back into the tower, or like wrestling back into the tower, and they're gone.
It looks like our
Dimension door!
looks like our man on the inside is now back inside, and we gotta go get him.
Dance, magic, dance.
I'm gonna head down
So
the
I want to
path.
use my boots and see if I can go over the.
I'll follow you.
Okay, so as Lornock kind of claps his boots together, the figures reappear on the balcony, kind of still struggling, and the first figure, it kind of maneuvers the other guy to the edge and does a kind of clapping motion, and there's this boom, and that guy goes flying over the railing and falls down the tower, and then the first figure darts back inside.
So the
Can I
first
see if
figure
I
was
can
the
catch
guy.
the figure that's falling?
So as Thornock clicks his boots and heads off towards over the maze, Thornock, as you do, you kind of see the images shimmer a little bit and then disappear completely. The tower is still there, but when you get to it, you kind of run your hands through it, and it's just an illusion.
Weird.
It sounds like you can't get to it
Maybe
without.
it's like an interplanar.
Well, yeah.
Can I? So I couldn't
And the
catch
maze
the
is
guy
the
that
only
was
way to
falling.
get through it.
No, you couldn't catch the guy because he disappeared before you even got to him.
I messaged Thornock. Thornock, your magic is too great.
The rest of you kind of just watched Thornock fly up and the guy fall down.
You evaporated the tower.
The tower's still there for Thornock. It's just illusory.
Okay.
So I guess I go back down.
Oh, that was a good shot.
I look at my. I think I broke the tower.
Hard way.
Okay. It's okay. You've got this. No problem. We'll put it back together.
Ari, maybe you should go first.
Yeah,
You know,
try
maybe
the
you're
maze.
invisible, stealthy, and trap detecting.
Pass without a trace.
I'll stay close. Maybe 50 feet out, but I'll keep in contact via our Irin.
My armor, by the way, gives me disadvantage on stealth checks.
Okay.
So,
So
Do it.
we need the hedges. Do you want to grab those real quick?
Okay, so I go ahead, maybe 50 feet stealthily.
Okay. No. So you enter into the maze. It kind of leads you on a little bit of a singular winding path for a little bit. And then we'll hold off for a moment because probably want all of you here for this next description.
did you? Side note: has anyone figured out how to import custom items? Because when I'm searching for them, it only searches official items, even though I went to my character and turned on homebrew content. Has anybody been successful in that?
I think you have to go to the homebrew section and add it.
Okay.
I created my stash of wood elf dexterity and added it.
Okay.
If
So
you
did
go
you-
to
did you-
creations and then
You added that in
hover
your
over
creations?
homebrew creations, there's like a bunch of stuff you can do.
Homebrew creation versus homebrew collection.
Yeah.
Got it. Collection.
I think you can do like create a
okay.
weapon or something.
Got it. That makes more sense. Children's game rules characters. Okay, so spell browse. Browse magic items. Is it considered a magic item?
Yeah, it is a magic item.
Okay.
Okay. So now. Okay. So you've entered an intersection, eventually, where 8 paths converge symmetrically in a circle. You can see Zonthal's tower dead ahead of above the hedge wall,
Okay.
but the way the paths curve, there's no telling which one it might lead to it. A sundial rests in the center of the intersection. The shadow from its gnomon, which apparently is a word, pointing straight towards the tower,
It's nom nom.
which is highly odd because the sun isn't behind you. Your shadows point in the proper direction. Only the sundial shadow points ahead.
Okay.
Corey, look. You can Assassin's Creed people.
Oh, nice. So that's what you
Under the
see.
haystack.
Nice.
And 8.
Big sundial in the center.
Yep, basically sundial in the center, the shadow pointing straight ahead at the at one path, and then there's 7 other symmetrical paths. So there's one at each. Basically, if you want to think of it in cardinal directions, there's one in each cardinal direction, as well
And
as
then the northwest sees.
the northeast, northwest, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I just say, I mean, it seems maybe a little too obvious to take the path the shadow's pointing towards, but I don't know which of the other 7 we would take otherwise.
So this is after we walked like straight in. And
Yeah, you kind of went around a little bit. They had one of those like snaking paths, and then it entered into this circular area.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyone want to suggest a different path other than the one that the shadow's pointing to?
Can I'm gonna, if we've got a little time, I want to we're in a kind of a hurry because they're fighting. I don't have 10 minutes to. I'm just gonna use a spell slot and actually cast it instead of doing a ritual cast for detect magic.
You can take 10 minutes. We can think about it. We don't seem to be under any kind of duress.
But the dude like kicked him off the shelf.
Oh, that's right. He had the hourglass.
Yeah,
He
so
might
I'm
be
gonna.
hurry.
I'm just
Time
gonna
is running out.
yeah, I'm gonna use a first level spell slot, detect magic, and I just want to see like when I look, I know everything is gonna be like blinding magic, but I want to see if there's any difference between the two, like as far as like enchantment or
Any paths or anything?
yeah.
No, this whole area is all like enchantment and
Enchantment?
illusion. Yep.
All right, well I'm afraid I'm not of any use. It looks like we might need to just choose, flip a coin, and I just release it because it's gonna be like so much enchanted crap around me.
Okay.
It's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, that's headache inducing.
Yep.
All right. So what path do you
Alright.
choose?
Why don't we start with the one the shadow's
Wait.
pointing to?
I'm gonna do. Can I? Oh, I wonder if this would work. I have locate object. Would that give me? It gives me a sense of direction of the object's location. Can I cast that and try and locate the hourglass?
You
And
can
see if
certainly
that
try.
gives us.
While he does that, are there any sticks on the ground? I'm gonna check for traps.
No, actually, this
Dang
this place is immaculately cared for.
Curses.
Let's play
Alright,
with
I
that
cast
warhead
locate
space.
object, and I
I know,
want
right?
to get on that hourglass and see if I can find the way to it.
So one of my favorite things in divination spells is coming up with a 404 error when they don't work. So you get a blue screen that says 404 unable to find.
Object not found. Beep, beep,
Damn.
boom.
Sorry guys, I tried. I thought I was being clever.
Yeah, Zonthal's thought of a lot of this stuff. So
I say we go down the path that it's pointing.
It's either the path or the inverse of it because if you're
The inverse
trying
is
to-
where we came out.
Sure.
Alright.
Is the inverse is where we came out?
Yeah.
technically,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Well, then, yeah, let's.
What horrible death could await us? Let's do it. Who's first?
Okay.
Maybe he's like, they're gonna overthink it. They'll never take the path that it's pointing to.
Here you go, Ari. You go first.
That seems too obvious. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead.
You scout ahead, look for traps.
Okay. So you guys take that path, and you travel for 11 rounds, so about a minute, a couple seconds, and then the path converges back, and you come back out into the intersection again with the sundial. Except for now, the sundial is facing towards. Actually, we'll do like 1 is straight ahead, and then 8 is the one just to the.
Well,
so,
you can just say north.
Okay, so in this case, it would be the sundial. The shadow is actually pointing in 2 directions.
Okay.
It is pointing north, and it is pointing east.
I look up at the sky. Where is the sun in relation to the shadows and stuff right now?
It is directly like it's in a way that your shadows are casting a different direction.
Okay, so like our shadows aren't like going with one of the.
No.
Okay.
I say we.
Maybe we should go. Maybe we should. Maybe.
Northeast.
Well, maybe
Which
we
split
should
the
go.
difference between the two?
We should either pick one of the two, or maybe we should go the direction that our shadows.
Let's split the party. That's always a great idea.
Maybe it's like all those other ones. What's the rule in mazes? You keep taking a left or keep taking a
Keep
right.
taking the left. Keep your hand to the left.
Let's keep,
It works
keep,
right either way as long as you're following.
Let's
the
do that.
similar direction.
Because is it
So-
would the left be towards the tower?
So which way was the
perceived
shadow
tower?
pointing the first time? To
The shadow was pointing north the first time. Now
So
it is
let's
pointing
go east.
north.
and now
and
there's
east.
north and east.
Yep.
But there's an opening.
Keep going north.
So
We keep going
Or
north?
well, no, I see what you're saying. Like maybe we unlock the first.
Yeah, we unlocked a new. Yeah.
like go
Maybe we should
east
go
then.
east.
Oh, let's go east.
Let's go east.
Do it.
Okay, we'll go east.
I'm gonna put my cat. I'm gonna leave him right there, and say,
By the
stay
sundial?
here and see if anything weird happens.
Okay. So you guys head east, and you start traveling along, and as soon as you're out of sight of the intersection, your connection with your cat severs. You
Okay.
can't feel it anymore.
All right.
So does that mean that it's shifting, or
We're hopelessly lost.
I just got out of range. Is all.
maybe this is
Wait.
a tumbling lock of sorts?
So we're headed east.
Yep. So you guys are headed east. You take about 5 rounds heading east here, and you end up coming across this. Let me see here. Ahead of you, you see a bubbling fountain filling the pathway. Large, bright flowers grow in the hedges on both sides of the fountain, each blossom shimmering in the light. The air smells particularly fresh and sweet here.
Do we see Edward Scissorhands pruning the bushes?
So, yeah, what would you like to do? This is what you see.
I want
Sorry,
to
what
just
was that again? You saw.
to creep up.
So,
creep up and
fountain in the middle,
kind of check out the area
flowers
a
on
little
either
more
side.
closely, looking around for traps and see if I see anything or anyone.
She's looking for traps. Is there anything different about the flowers? Like, are they the same kind of flowers on either side?
So as Ari gets closer, you see that the shimmering that these flowers are kind of doing is because there is a pearl stuck in each one, in kind of the center.
Oh, don't touch it! The diamond and the rough.
Oh, I got one pearl.
I was gonna say Ari wants it so bad.
I know, I do like shinies.
Nasty little rabbits.
That seems dangerous.
I'm gonna
Anything
go-
else that I noticed
I'm gonna
about
go look
the
at the
fountain
fountain.
or
Okay.
Kind of expect that.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. Ari, roll me an investigation check as well for the fountain.
Natural 20. Plus 121.
14.
You can't. So, Ari, you're not really. You're kind of distracted by these pearls a little too much.
Yeah.
But Tavish, as you're examining this fountain, it actually just appears to be a normal fountain. You search every inch, like you touch every single like facet to be like maybe there's a secret button, but no,
Yeah.
it just appears to be a fountain.
Is there anything weird about the shadows?
No, there doesn't appear to be any weird shadows in this.
I knew.
Oh.
The water, is the water clear?
Yep.
I cut my hand and like pull it out, just like see, because we've had that other experience before when we pull it out, like evaporate. Does it do anything?
No, it's water.
I drink it.
Okay.
Does it do
Hey,
anything?
sweet.
Dust the rest off on the flowers.
Okay.
Like shake my hand. Anything? Nothing?
No.
What about
Grab a pearl. Do it.
throw it in the well? Make a wish.
Okay, I just shrug my shoulders and say, I mean, I can't help myself. And I try and quickly grab one. Like,
Okay.
maybe sleight of hand or something fast. I don't know. Not disturb the flower at all, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Replace it with the stone.
Like in the Ninja Turtles movies where you're pulling he pulls the bells off the
Yeah.
dummy.
So you grab the pearl, and as soon as your hand touches it, the plant like lurches forward and tries to close around your hand. So I'm going to roll an attack against you.
Burn it! Feed me, Seymour.
Just a second here.
Just a second.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Scott, would you go grab the plants for me?
By the way,
You
I gotta
all
jump
of them?
away from the keyboard.
okay.
Be back in.
Quick question for those who are joining remotely: is the mic loud enough, or is it good?
yeah, it seems okay.
Yeah, it's been good.
Alright. I just want to make sure it's not too loud, not too quiet.
Oh.
Probably should ask that at the beginning, but whatever.
Where is this thing?
Blood and ashes, Randolph Thor.
Oh, that's a crit. Okay. So the first attack, it bites down on you for, let's see.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
We're back. Colby's getting eaten by a flower.
Oh snap!
20 piercing damage, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution. 19.
19. Okay, so you're good on that, and then the next two attacks here, I just rolled another crit.
You're gonna get down by a flower.
Yeah.
One hit.
And then he's gonna turn into a goblin.
I so want him to come back as a goblin.
That's 13 bludgeoning damage and 10 piercing damage as this thing tries to wrap onto you with one of its thorny vines. And actually, no, it does. You're grappled. Yep. And then it's got one more attack, apparently.
Holy crap.
That's 4 attacks.
Don't touch
3.
the pearls.
This one
This is
was
all
not a crit. It was almost a crit. It's just a dirty 20 against your AC.
Miss.
Okay, so that one doesn't hit.
my
So as Ari grabs this pearl, this flower basically slams down around her arm and just like crunches into it. And at which point all the other flowers kind of start shaking a little bit and vines start rising up. And that's where we're going to end tonight because it is actually just about 11 o'clock and I can't... this combat's going to take too long. So, yep, cliffhanger with Ari screaming as... yeah, a carnivorous flower attacks her.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
Oh, snap, indeed.
And now a 2-week break.
Yes.
But good news for y'all. Congratulations on some excellent role-playing tonight. 700... No, let's do 1,000 experience apiece for wonderful role-playing. And I'm giving inspiration to Tavish. I'm giving inspiration to Ari. And I'm giving inspiration to Brahm as well.
Thank you.
thanks everybody for joining the stream. It sounded like we had maybe a few people watching, which is
we
always
have
cool.
four new followers today.
Okay, cool. Thanks
for
for coming.
We do have our stream tomorrow.
Yes.
Normally it's every Thursday at the same time, same bat channel. Fridays is like every other Friday has been the cadence. So this week we do have it on Friday. And thank you for everybody who's participated in Extra Life. We've again, as for those who haven't heard, we have raised over $500 for Children's Mercy Hospitals. Is that right? Children's Mercy.
Children's Mercy Killings.
No.
Children's Miracle Network, specifically some of the other ones here. So
Sorry,
thank you guys.
And we appreciate every cent that you can give. And the kids do too.
Yep.
So just as a little bookkeeping, no game next week. Unfortunately, we're going to be sans equipment and Braum, so there's no way that we can do that. And then the week after that, we are planning a potential game for July 3rd. We will talk about it and probably post something if
That
on our Twitter.
could be a longer game into the night too.
Yes,
since-
since we don't
I
have
can't,
most.
I can't make that game.
How late
I have
does your school
at
go?
night, so. What's that?
How late
How
does
late does
school
your
go?
school go?
9.
9.
That's when we start.
Yeah, you could if you. Okay.
Well, okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
We're gonna
I'll be
zap you
dead,
of all
but I
your
haven't
soul.
seen my family for 3 days, but I could potentially make that.
Well, we can definitely talk about it.
Okay.
But once again, we'll let you guys know if you do want to keep up to date on all of the latest. It's Twitter at the Broken Spear.
The underscore broken spear.
At the underscore spear.
Yep, at the underscore Broken Spear. And yeah.
Yep.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Okay.
Bye.